Just thank you for being here. I don't take your time for granted. You're here in the middle of the day on a Friday. You probably have some kind of obligation that you're giving up. A lot of you paid to be here. I don't take that lightly. I really want you to get something out of this. I want you to get some kind of piece of advice that you can take back and just apply to your life. Whether you're a business owner, you just work for a company in digital marketing, or whether you're just interested in WordPress, there's anything that I talk about here can be applied to wherever you have some kind of communication with another human being. Okay, and so when they sent out the speaker application requests, I had like a brief moment where I committed unconsciously, whether I knew it or not, that I was going to be doing this speaking engagement. And that's because there is one simple fact that has always really resonated with me, especially ever since I started my freelance business. And that is that you don't matter. Okay, and I'm probably glad that this isn't a motivational seminar because I would not be very good at that. But I don't mean that you don't matter from an aspect of like you don't have a gift or some special talent that you get to bring to the world, or that you get to, or that you don't have some kind of great business that you could create, or that you don't add value, because you definitely do, and I truly believe that. What I mean is that when you're talking to another person, that they don't care about you. They care about themselves. And you know this is true because when you're talking to somebody, what are you thinking about? I mean, you probably don't know because we have about 70,000 thoughts that go through our heads every single day, and most of them are just triggered by some random mechanism that has gone off in the outside world, and often we find ourselves making decisions that we don't even know that we made them. But that's kind of besides the point. We see that our lives through this entirely selfish point of view, where everything is about us. Whether we want to admit that we care about other people or not, which we do, on a day-to-day basis, when we make decisions, it's typically just about us. So this is a real problem when you're starting a business, because there's no instruction manual, right? You have to figure things out for yourself. Kind of like how Pippin said. Like that was beautifully put. Like you basically just have to go in, do it, screw up, make mistakes, learn from them, and keep going. Well, when it comes to marketing, that's very difficult for us to do because it's going to be hard for us to understand what works and what doesn't work. And what I'm telling you is that if you are solely focused on you and what you are trying to bring to the world, and you're not focused on the end customer, you're going to fail every single time. Because they don't care about you, they care about them. They care about what you can do for them. They care about what your message says. They care about what it means. And most of all, they care about whether they're going to spend money to get it. Which, if you own a business, that's pretty much all you should be caring about. Because 8 out of 10 small businesses fail within the first 18 months. And now, if you talk to any business owner, they'll give you about 1 billion different reasons of why this is. The supply chain screwed up, customer didn't take to the product, our marketing team messed something up, the developer I hired didn't come in on time, whatever. Okay, but the thing is that if you got you right from the beginning and you made a product, then you probably would have been cash positive a lot faster than what you thought you would be, and you would still be in business. I guarantee you, almost all those businesses that go out of business within the first 18 months haven't gotten this concept right. Okay, all that matters is the end user, and all that matters is their experience of you and whatever they're dealing with. So the concept of you is generally lost on us. I mean, think about when you're growing up, you're in elementary school, and you were given a homework assignment, and most of those assignments were, fill in the blank, fill in the definition of what this is, like what was the Third Amendment to the Constitution, or something like that. And you're given these just like really informative answers, or questions to answer. And as we go out and we answer them, we all of a sudden assume that there's just this like rule book that we follow, and that when we communicate something that we just say what it is, if that makes sense. We don't put any heart into it, and we don't express ourselves, and we don't learn how to creatively solve the problem that way. We just learn how to say things. And this has really resonated when you look at people's like About Me pages, a lot of the content that they're writing. It's because they don't understand what it is that person is wanting to see, because they're seeing things through their point of view. So we can spend all this time and money on SEO, social media, pay-per-click campaigns, Facebook likes, even though I don't understand what that does to your bottom line necessarily. But at the end of the day, if you don't get the you thing right, nobody's going to buy from you, and it's not going to matter. And for those of you that don't own a business, if you don't get the you thing right, you're not going to get your point across to your boss, your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your kids, whatever it is, and you guys are going to go through the rest of your life with this just communication barrier, right? So if there's one thing that I could get through to you today is that when you are talking to somebody, understand that all they are hearing is what they want to hear in the story that they're telling themselves. And if you understand that, then you can get through to them, and you're going to have a better chance at getting what you want in life. Let's go to the next one. Oh, I totally skipped that. Sorry. So this is our agenda for the rest of the presentation. First, I'm going to talk about copywriting. Copywriting, we're going to go more into detail about that, but it's just the way that humans communicate with each other through the written word. It's a way to get your person that's reading whatever you're doing to take action and do whatever it is that you want them to do. Then we're going to go through an example of a bad copy, and this is actually going to be pulled from a client of mine. I'm not going to tell you who it is because he would kill me, but it's a really good example of what not to do. Then we're going to go through this little formula called AIDA. Some of you might have heard of it, especially if you work like in digital marketing and in content marketing. This is all over the place. Now, let me stop here and say I absolutely do not believe in any hacks, tricks, formulas, any of that crap, because it doesn't work. And it doesn't work because if you can replicate it, then anybody can replicate it, and anything that anybody can do has absolutely no value, right? So this is a formula, and it's the only time I break that, and it's because the formula is just applied to whatever it is that you are writing about. But we'll go into more detail about that in a bit. Then we're going to go through an example using AIDA to turn that bad copy above into good copy, something that people want to read, something that speaks to them, that gets them to take action. Then we're going to talk a little bit about email marketing, which I swear by. I personally think this is your most cost-effective marketing outlet. That could be argued. I'm sure we could have a debate about it for days and days and days. You can come up with 1,000 statistics. I could come up with 1,000 statistics, and we won't get anywhere. But I personally love email marketing. I've seen a lot of success with it. And then content marketing and how you can apply your new copywriting skills to that. And then where to go from here. Because I don't want to leave you empty-handed and leave us open-ended or anything like that. I really, really want you to get some value out of this. So, copywriting. What is copywriting? So this definition is pulled straight from Wikipedia, and I highly don't recommend you ever write like this because this is exactly what I was talking about before. So kind of going back on my own word there. But it is the act of writing text for the purpose of advertising or other forms of marketing. The product called copy is written content that aims to increase brand awareness and ultimately persuade a person or a group to take a particular action. So yeah, it's wordy, but it covers the definition pretty well. In layman's terms, copywriting is how we take our message and communicate it to our audience. It's how we get people to buy what we're selling. Now, again, back to the way that we were pretty much raised to write anything. We tend to all feel like we're lawyers. I don't know if you noticed that or not, especially when we're writing something. Like, we're just writing definitions. We're trying to use as many big words as we can because we're like, oh, that's going to sound smart. And somebody's going to read that and they're going to think that that's really, really smart. And then you're going to think you look smart, and then people are going to trust you more. But I'm telling you, in reality, nobody wants to read a law book. There's a reason why lawyers make a ton of money, and there's a reason why law school costs $200,000 is because nobody wants to do it. Okay? Nobody wants to read something that reads like a law book, that's dry, dead, and full of all these huge words and stuff like that. I mean, you're talking to people that have been spending the last 9 to 10 hours probably in an office staring at a computer screen, being told to do something they probably don't want to do. And the last thing they want to do is read through this insane paragraph of just stuff that in reality is just gibberish. If you really look at what it's saying, you're just like, I don't even know what that was. I have no idea what that just said. So a lot of copywriting is cutting through all that noise and all that excess static and getting to what it is that you're actually trying to get across. Okay? So all we care about is getting our message across consistently and clearly. What is it that I do? Why do you care? And what can you do to take action about it? And that's it. That's all we need to do. So from now on, if you're ever writing something, and I'm talking not even just to sell things, like any email, just keep that in mind. Like, if there's nothing else you take from this, just keep that in mind. What is it that I'm trying to say here? Like, am I trying to use all these big words to look smart? Am I not getting my point across because I'm kind of scared to ask what I want? Or am I actually deliberately saying, hey, this is me, this is what I have to say? I'm telling you, you're going to end up getting a lot more out of your communication. Okay, so now let's go into an example of bad copy. And I'll read this. This is fun. All right. We are a full-service commercial, residential, and private land ownership real estate company. We specialize in putting the customer first before anything else. Our mission and passion is helping our customers in every way possible. We have been here for many successful years and will be here for many more. This longevity and confidence comes from our real estate services to a great many buyers and sellers, and their recommendations to others that result in repeat and referral business that keeps us productive and successful. So, who has any idea what that means? Like, I don't. I have no clue. Like, what is this talking about? This is just gibberish. And it's because whoever's writing it's like really nervous about putting themselves on the line. But that's really deep, and we're not going to go into that. What we're going to do is we're going to learn how to fix this, okay? And if you're looking at this and you're like kind of semi-ashamed because you're like, oh mine kind of looks like that. Look, I did the same exact thing too. When I first started out, I started a blog. I speak Mandarin, and I started a blog about teaching people how to speak Mandarin, and mine more or less looked the same as this, and I couldn't figure out why people didn't want to read my stuff, but now I understand. So what I want to point out though is how absolutely selfish this is. How selfish is this? It's we. We are a full-service commercial company. We specialize in putting the customer first. Our mission is helping our customers. We have been here for many successful years. Our real estate, like, look at that. Where is you? You is not in there at all. The person that's writing this isn't even thinking about the person that's going to read it. So why would you expect them to read it? They're not going to read it. I wouldn't read it. I would read the first sentence and be like, whatever, like, I'm done. I don't even care about this, right? And so what has always struck home with me when I was learning copywriting was learning how incredibly selfish it is when you write something like this. Because people hate being sold to, but they love buying stuff. They do. You love buying stuff. That's why Amazon's so successful. Because it's like, yeah, I'm going to go buy a book for like only $2 less than what I could get it at Barnes & Noble, but I think it's cheaper because that's just how life works, I guess. We love buying stuff, but we hate being sold to. And when you're doing something like this that's from a purely selfish point of view, just getting somebody to learn more about you, people pick up on that, and they know. They're like, oh, he's just trying to sell me stuff. Even though he didn't even do a call to action, which is a really bad move, by the way. Always have a call to action in anything you write. Even if he didn't have a call to action, they know that he's trying to get them to sell them stuff. Right? So that's that. But now, let's talk about ADA. So ADA is attention, interest, desire, action. This is like decades old copywriting formula from like the Mad Men era. Okay, I love Mad Men, but we won't go into that. This is the formula that people use to hit those psychological triggers that people need to see before they buy something, so that you start trusting them, you understand what they're about, and they know why your product is going to be the best thing for them. Okay, so the A stands for attention. Hold on. Okay. The A stands for attention. And obviously, you're going to try to grab your reader's attention. Now, we want to immediately draw someone in with whatever it is that they have to offer. So real estate, right? And again, we're going to go over this example in a bit. We're going to rewrite that other copy. We want to draw in whoever might be interested in something like that, okay? But you want to be sure that you understand in that first line, you are not selling anything in that first line, okay? If you find yourself selling something, or if you find yourself saying like, buy now, like, no, start over, okay? Because you missed something. That's part of the action step, and that's not till the end. Attention is just to get them to look at it and to read the next line. In fact, your entire copy should be designed to have them read one line after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next, and then you don't sell until you get to the all-important action phase, because if you try to do it before then, they're not going to be ready and they're not going to do it. So interest is, we engage the reader, okay? We tell them some interesting facts, we relate to their struggles, we build some rapport with them, we tell them just something that we can relate to them about. We're starting to build that trust, saying, hey, I know what you're going through, I might have something that could help you. Then desire, then we get really, really deep into what it is they're looking for. That's where we say, wouldn't it be nice if that trouble just went away? Wouldn't it be nice if you found that dream home, which we're about to get into? I'm kind of alluding to that. Wouldn't it be nice if you just didn't have to worry about this stuff anymore? And then that leads directly into action, which is like where you tell them exactly how to take action. Are they going to call you? Are they going to leave their email, their contact information? Do they need to buy something? Do they need to come to a conference at some point in time? Okay, that's the most important part, because you have to get them to take action somehow. No matter what piece of content you're writing, about me page, a blog post, get them to take action of some kind, because it's going to be good practice for you, and it's going to get them in the habit of taking action. But the thing is that when you're getting them to take action, you need to say it clearly. Like, don't beat around the bush. Don't say, well, if you kind of want to buy it, you know, that'd be cool. No. Say it straight up. This costs $155. Buy it now. Okay? And if they want to buy it, they'll buy it. If they don't want to buy it, you either haven't done your job or they're not the kind of customer for you. So let's use that formula to turn that bad copy into real copy. So, attention. Are you looking for a new home? How's that search for a new home coming along? Looking for a new home in Overland Park? Stuck on finding that dream home? All those are perfect attention grabbers. Because if you're looking for a home, you're like, yeah, I am. And now you might think that that's way too simple, and I agree with you. It looks like it's way too simple. But it works. Because you read it, and then you read the next line. You might think, I personally thought it would look too simple because I was like, nobody's going to buy that. Well, yeah, they're not going to buy it because you're not trying to get them to buy that. You're just trying to get them to read more. Get them to trust you. Are you looking for a new home? Yeah, Ryan, I'm looking for a new home. What else you got? And the interest. So this is probably my favorite parts. This is when we get to use statistics, and I love statistics. So sometimes this can feel like it's easier said than done. You have to sort through hundreds just to find a couple that you're interested in, then pray you got there before someone else outbids you. And let's not even talk about getting a mortgage approval, okay? We're relating to their pain, their struggle. The act of buying a house is painful. It hurts. You know, there's all this stress around it. You got to worry about real life, and then you got to take care of this like $350,000 thing that you're going to buy and you're going to be paying off for the next 30 years. Like, I mean, all these things are going through people's heads. Right here we relate to them. Notice how I have not used we, I, me, our, nothing yet at all. In fact, I don't even know if I use it at all in the entire thing. In fact, the Holmes and Rahi scale, I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, so sorry for that, considers the act of buying or selling a home to be the 25th most stressful moment in a person's life. I love that because all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm not alone, right? Somebody gets me. Everybody gets me because this is a stressful moment. I'm not crazy for freaking out in the middle of the night and having all this anxiety because I'm trying to buy a house. This guy gets me. Now we go into desire. Now remember, this is when we start to do our selling process, right? Wouldn't it be great if this were easy? Yes, Ryan, it would be great if it were easy. Tell me more. How would you like to have someone just to take that off your hands, to guide you through the weeds, and then make everything just simple? Then into action. At Real Estate Company LLC, we take care of the hard stuff so you can focus on what matters, finding your dream home. Check out our feature listings below or call blah, blah, blah to speak to a customer service specialist now. Easy, clear, simple, to the point. If they want to buy a house, they're going to call you. Unless they have already been sold by somebody, which you're kind of out of luck at that point in time anyway. Right? It's just clear, it's simple, it gets your point across, and if somebody's trying to buy a house, they're more than likely going to call you after reading something like this. Okay, so now let's move into email marketing. I swear by email marketing. In fact, if you have a career of any kind, I highly suggest you get a blog and an email list and just start it up. Now, this is your best way to get your message across to your customers. So companies like Apple and all the car companies like Chevy and all that, they have billion-dollar budgets, like billions. And they have it for a reason. And it's because they understand that it takes multiple times for somebody to see your message before they end up deciding to buy from you, right? So sales, I've seen a bunch of different quotes on this. I'm not sure if there's any real reliable data or anything, but Salesforce was the most reliable thing I could find. With that, it takes 6 to 8 touches to generate a lead. And that's not even to get them to buy. That's just to get them to want to talk to you, right? So what email marketing is going to effectively do for you is put that on autopilot. right? You write your message a couple of weeks in advance. It sends it out on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. They might open it, they might not. Either way, you've got yourself in front of that person. So when they think like, oh, I might be wanting to buy something like this in the future, they come back to you because you're automatically in their head, right? And now there's a decent amount of skepticism around email marketing. A lot of people don't think it works. They don't want to be a spammer. We're going to go into that spammy thing here in a minute. But this was an interesting statistic I found, is that 30% of retail email subscribers have made a purchase through email. So whether you think it works or not, I mean, that's obviously a good revenue channel that you should be incorporating into your business anyway. And if you don't have a business, if you just have like your personal career you want to grow, this is a great way for you to show off to potential employers the kind of things you know, right? It's a way for you to share what your blog content's going to be. It's a way to just keep in touch with people without having to make like a weekly phone call or something like that to them. You know, time is the most important thing you have, and that's for anything. That's whether you're growing a business or whether you're just trying to enjoy yourself. Time is the most important thing you have, so you have to really, really spend it wisely, and this is a really good way to do it. So let's talk about being spammy, because that's the elephant in the room here, right? Nobody wants to look like this, right? Now that's not an email, that's a Facebook post, and they're saying, hey, buy these Ray-Bans. Yeah, I got this from raybanscams.com or something like that. I don't know, I just Googled scammy looking thing, right? And so that's probably what you're thinking when you're thinking of email marketing. Like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, and trust me, I don't either, right? Like, look at that. Ray-Ban sunglasses, I can't even read it, sale, save 90%, payment currency, dollar, euro, pound. Yeah, no, if you're writing something like that, you're doing it wrong, and you're not using these principles correctly. Okay? That's not what I'm telling you to do. If you're doing that, back up. In fact, one of my clients was doing that, and they were getting like a 0.2% open rate and like a 0.1% click-through rate, because all they would have is like in their subject line, it'd be like, you must watch this. And then they'd go into the email and it'd be a video and they say, click here now. And they're like, we don't know why people aren't buying from us. Yes, you do. You really do. It's because it's bad. Okay? If it's looking like it's spammy, you're not doing it right. So don't confuse spammy emails with good copywriting. Because good copywriting, people actually want to read it. You'd be surprised at how many people actually want to read your sales emails. I read emails all the time. Okay? And I do it mainly for professional growth because I like to see what people do. But some of this stuff, if they've done their job right, it's really, really interesting. And it's really interesting to read. So a good way to go about this is to get your mind out of these like statistics, right? These click-through rates and these open rates. Like, don't focus on that. That's going to come. That's a result of doing your job right. Kind of like how a good social media campaign will come along if you are actively talking to your customers, right? You're going to get good engagement if you're doing your job right. So don't start off thinking, oh, I got to get a 30% click-through rate or open rate and a 10% click-through rate or anything like that. And for those that you don't know, sorry, I should back up. The open rate, how many people opened your email out of how many total people got it. Click-through rate, how many people clicked through out of how many people got it. So I wouldn't spend any time, especially if you're just starting off, I wouldn't spend any time focusing on something like that. So that's email marketing. Now let's talk about content marketing. Again, I have another really boring definition for you. A type of marketing that involves creation and sharing of online material that does not explicitly promote a brand but is intended to stimulate interest in its products or services. So I'm sure you've all done the whole Google thing where you Google something, like you want tips on how to build a good social media campaign or something like that. And I talk about social media a lot because I kind of rag on it a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. It does work, I'm sure, but I think there's just a lot of emphasis put onto it and not enough on this kind of stuff. But you Google something like that, and it comes up with just some random blog post that's like the 17 steps to effective social media. And like step 5 is like have a profile. And like step 8 is like have a good picture. Like it's just this vague and overall just really unhelpful piece of content. Okay? You want to really, really, really watch out for this kind of thing because you're going to lose your readers because they're not going to care because that kind of content's on that other site that they can go click through on. They're not going to care, and they're not going to pay attention to you anymore, and you're just going to be off the radar if you keep writing stuff like that. Never write content for a search engine whatsoever. Keywords are good. I'm not saying don't use keywords. Use a keyword because that's going to give you an idea about what people are looking for. But in case you haven't noticed lately about Google's algorithm changes and all that kind of stuff, is that they're not as keyword focused as they used to be. And that's because 70% of, actually I think it's on the next slide. Yeah, people Google things to find answers to questions. 70% of searches are long-tail keyword searches. So, for those of you that don't know, that's like a really specific question, like how to find the best Chinese restaurant in Seattle, Washington, while driving a Honda Civic. That would be a long-tail keyword, right? Like, it's extremely specific, and nobody's got that exact answer, so Google's trying to do its best to find, like, oh, well, where could I find somebody that's got a Honda Civic that lives in Seattle that knows about Chinese? They got all these different factors have been going into it, and they've been doing this stuff forever, that they've got a pretty good formula figured out. So really, if you're ranking for a really bad piece of content anyway, you've done something, I don't know how you did it. But the point is that even if you're not promoting yourself, you're still promoting yourself. Okay, because everything you do is going to lead into your overall image of you, and when somebody needs to buy something, they're going to be remembering all of this, and they're going to come back to it. Okay, so where to go from here? And now I know I didn't take up the full 45 minutes, it's at about half hour now, but that's okay. Plenty of time for questions then. So first of all, the number one thing you should do is to go back and reevaluate your marketing message, whatever it is. And if you don't have a marketing message, you're not a business owner, go back and take a look at, like, just look at a couple of your emails that you've been sending. Like, I did that because I was like, as soon as I started learning this, like the second copy course I took, I went back and I looked at some of these emails I was sending. I was like, oh my God, like, no way. Like, no way. Because if I got that, I'd have been like, what is this guy doing? This is ridiculous. So I would do that. I would go back and just take a look at how you've been talking to people, especially over written word, and just look for ways that you can make that simpler. You know, take an old email, break it down, use Ada. You'll have this entire slide deck. You'll get that emailed out to you and everything like that. You're free to use any of this, all that you want. Please do. Go back, take a look at what you've been doing. See ways you can apply the Ada principle and start practicing with that and get better at it. Then set up an email list. MailChimp is 100% free. That's just MailChimp.com. The links will be in here too. It's 100% free for up to 2,000 subscribers and then 12,000 emails a month. So that's fantastic. You don't have to pay any money to get started on this. And then start interviewing your customers. And this is more geared towards you business owners in here. I would challenge you to every single time you have an interaction with a customer between now and the end of April. What is it? It's the 13th, right? Yeah, now and the end of April, to have an interaction with them and say, hey, what's a problem that you want solved? Like, what just irks at you about this? Like, you're a lawn mowing company or something like that. You go up to your customer and say, hey, what about, like, lawn care is just making you mad? What's wrong? What's a way that I could help? And start taking it, you're going to start noticing some patterns here, that some people start having more problems than others, and some people are going to have the same problems as others, right? And what you can do there is that's going to give you a really good starting point on the kind of content you can make. And if you make that content right, where it actually solves that person's problem, they're going to start coming across you naturally. Like, and I'm talking not even just from Google. I mean, like, people are going to be sharing your stuff. You're going to get promoted on other websites and stuff like that, and they're going to be linking back to you. So if I had to say that there were any 3 things I would do right now in order to start applying this kind of thing and start seeing more results in your life, it would be this. And again, you'll have this slide deck. So that's the end. I'll take questions. If anybody's got any? Yeah. Maybe, maybe not. There's nothing that can compare to having a genuine conversation with somebody. Yep. If it contradicts to your statistics, like you're talking about, somebody says, oh, I want this, but they're clicking through on something else, right? Yeah, sure. Okay, so two things there. One, I would say there's something weird going on, and I would explore it more. Like why, what, so he's saying he wants something, but he's clicking through on something else. Well, why is he clicking through on that? I mean, the majority of the customers, okay, that was my second point, is that maybe that's just not a customer you can please. So yeah, never be afraid to say, hey, this just wasn't meant to be, right? Like you can't please everybody. In fact, the quickest way to go broke is trying to please everybody. Some people are just not going to like you. That's okay. That doesn't matter. You don't need to please everybody. The only way that niche marketing, I'm sure you've heard of niche marketing, that unfortunately most people don't do niche marketing. They pick a subject and they try to get everybody in that subject, but that's not niche marketing. Niche marketing is tailoring your message around a really specific type of person and a type of one. So, and another thing to go off of you that I didn't go off of here, or that I didn't talk about here, is creating your ideal customer. So you can go through and say, this is the type of person that resonates the most with my message, and they pay me the most money. This is the type of person I want. And create that persona, and name them like Chris or John or Amy or something like that. Name that person, so now whenever you're writing, you're like, oh, I'm writing to Amy, and this is what Amy wants to hear. And you're going to find that a lot of the people that have that are going to go away, and you're going to get more of the people that you want. Anybody else? Yeah. 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 Something's wrong. Okay, so let's start there. Yeah, good question. I guess I didn't mean, and I'm sorry if I didn't say this correctly. It's not that you don't care about your statistics. What I mean is don't be obsessed with them, right? Like don't be obsessed. Somebody gets like, I get bad click-throughs all the time. I get like, I sent out a campaign that I was like, dude, everybody's gonna love this, and it got like a 0.8 click-through. I was like, what's going on? Like you have no idea. So if you've gone through, I would say a couple of weeks and you're not getting any traction, something's wrong with your message. You might be reaching out to the wrong person. You might be saying the wrong thing. It could be a number of things, and you just got to investigate it more. The bad thing about business is that there really is no clear answer, because if you're doing it right, then it's going to be completely customized to you. Because if you're doing it like everybody else is doing it, you're going to be broke because nobody pays for something that everybody else can do. You'll just be a commodity, and it'll be a choice that the customer gets to make, and it'll just be like, well, I'm just going to take whoever's cheaper. And that's the fastest way to go out of business, if you want my opinion. Did I answer that? Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Your industry. There's a ton of, I could link to some resources online. HubSpot's got some great statistics on that, HubSpot.com. They're great as far as a marketing channel goes. Typically speaking, anything between a 1% and 3% click-through is doing pretty good. And then open rates, if you're getting between, I would say between 14 to 20% open rate, that's pretty good. That's pretty healthy. You got pretty engaged customers. And if you're over 20, you're doing really good. Yeah. Like social media, SEO, and that stuff, I think they're all essential. But I think the one that's the direct connection between you and your customer is email. Because what's great about your email list is that it's yours. Nobody else had, like, you own it, right? People sell their email lists for like hundreds of thousands of dollars because that's what they can prove it'll make you over a certain amount of time. Facebook could change its algorithm like that. You're done. SEO, same, done. Doesn't matter. Google doesn't care about you, okay? They care about their searchers, or the people that are searching. Your email list is yours, though, forever, as long as you want it. So I would say if you had to pick one that's more important, it'd be that. Because if you do that right, that's going to resonate through your Facebook campaigns, your SEO campaigns. You're going to see success all over the board. That's your direct connection to your customer. Did that answer? Is that good? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Great question. It's like, where do I even start doing these emails? Like, and really there is no easy answer except to just go up to people that you think would like to hear what you have to say and saying, hey, I write about this stuff like once a week. You mind if I send you an email? I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say no. They're going to say no. You're going to be like, okay, are we still friends? Yeah, okay, great. You know, no, because I had this same mental block. It's scary going up to somebody and saying, like, this is me, this is what I'm making, and I hope you approve of it or not, because so much of what we do is based on, is this going to look good or is this going to look bad, right? But really the only way to start your business, like in a real way, is to sell from day one. How many of you guys ever heard of Tim Ferriss? Probably is really big, but his number one recommendation to like business owners, entrepreneurs of any kind, is to get that person to buy something from you before you even make it. Because if you can convince them to buy something from you, then, I mean, you're good. You're cash positive from day one. Like all these companies that are going bankrupt because they waited like 3 years to launch a product, it's like, why? You got to go out and you got to get them to do it there. So that might seem like it's unrelated to your question, but what I'm trying to get at is that you just got to basically just put yourself out there and do it. Like if you have a service business, you don't have any clients. I mean, go up to people you want to work for. Say, hey, I want to do this for you. I'll charge you $20 an hour. People that are doing the same thing are charging $100 an hour. You know, I'll do it for this much. What do you think? You'd be surprised at how many clients you get. I'm a web developer and a copywriter, but mostly a web developer. I didn't have a website for the first 6 months I was in business. I'm dead serious. I didn't have a website. I had 5 clients under contract and was doing this full time before I even had a website. So putting yourself out there and getting those customers to just come to you immediately is going to just do wonders for you in the long run. Did that answer for you, or do you have anything else?
So I mean, you have like articles
As of right now, no. As of right now, no, I don't. But like clients that I work for, that's what I do for them. I used to do it on my own blog. Again, I know Mandarin. I wanted to just try something out. I was sick of my job, and I was like, I just want to try something, see if this goes anywhere. You know, built a course around it, and then I didn't want to do that. I like the coding aspect of it and the writing, the copy aspect of it more. So I wanted to start more of a business like that. So I don't personally have an email list right now, but I've had email lists in the past, and all my clients have email lists. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't. I say what I want to say, and I hope that it works. Is basically what it is. I don't try to focus too much on stuff I can't control, like Facebook algorithms. I can't control that. I have no power over that. I can measure it and see what works, what doesn't, you know. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think somebody's going to share something that they find compelling, and so that's just all I try to do off of that. Is that all right? Is that answered? Okay. If you guys have any, if something's unclear, ask. Just ask more about. I'm an open book. Yes, sir. Yeah. You got it. Yeah. Good. Fantastic question. Yeah, because it's a tough question, and I love tough questions. They're great. So the question was, how do you demonstrate your return on investment when you build something like this? So what you want to do is you basically want to figure out how much is that end consumer use or worth to you. And a lot of your customers aren't going to have that kind of data, so you're going to kind of have to ballpark it. Say you have like a $500 product that you're trying to sell. and you have like a list of like 40,000 people or something like that. What you can do is you can say, on average, it'll take between 6 to 8 views for these people to see your product before they buy it. You have 40,000 people, let's get 20%, let's make a goal of getting 20% of them to open it, and then a goal of whatever the click-through rate is. From there, it's going to be an even smaller cut of who's actually going to buy the product. Are you still with me? Yeah. I talk really fast and I talk really like in circles sometimes, so some people are looking like, what does he mean? No. Okay. Tell me if you're not. So break it down to your basic numbers. How much is your product selling for? How many people, based on whatever your email list is, can you expect to buy that product realistically? And then bring that to them. So you got a $500 product, you got a 40,000 person email list. Say you can expect 10 people to buy it. Say, I can give you an ROI of $5,000 by doing this. And then my services cost $1,000 or whatever they cost. So you'll make a net margin of $4,000. Same thing. Yeah, same thing. You'd be surprised how well this works in a B2B setting. Like a lot of people would think that it's just B2C. No. B2B, it's great. Okay, business people love their emails and they check their emails all the time. In fact, if you're on a website and you're doing B2B, make them, and work with your developer because they can do this, make them only use a business email address when they're signing up. So they're not going to give you their spam. Like I got a Yahoo email address that I give to like all these e-commerce companies. Like, yeah, take this so I can get my coupon, right? Like we've all done that. But don't do that in yours. Say work email. So they're going to give you your work email. You know they're going to check it because they check their work email all the time. Good question. Anybody else? Yeah. Sure. Yep. Right. Just write. No, seriously. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been writing something and I'm like, this is the most god-awful piece of content I have ever done in my entire life. And I submit it and they're like, we love this. This is amazing. Like, most of that is just you getting in your own way. I promise. If you write this all the time, I guarantee you know how to do it. So, whenever I hit that wall though, I just write. And I'll write about anything. Even if I don't want to write about that, I'll write about like some kind of tech thing that I'm interested in. Or I'll write about some kind of cool place I want to go visit or something like that. And start to get those juices flowing, and then you'll find that you'll start having these ideas pop out. That's just part of the creative process. Yeah, good question. Anybody else? Awesome. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.